Welcome to Pages and Pots. Today I'm taking you through a spring equinox day of preparing and using Rudolf Steiner's horn manure, one of biodynamic agriculture's most symbolically rich and spiritually charged practices. I met with a group of biodynamic gardeners at the Waldorf School of Santa Barbara's demonstration garden to retrieve the manure-filled cow horns fermenting beneath a well-marked mound. We had buried them 6 months earlier at the autumn equinox under the direction of master biodynamic farmer Harald Hoven. We packed fresh cow manure mixed with preparations of minerals and herbal additives prescribed by Rudolf Steiner. According to anthroposophy, the process brings the smallest entities into manure, which combine with the vital forces of elemental earth spirits to form a potent rejuvenator for plants in spring. The timing of the autumn equinox coincides with the natural rhythms of the earth, when all of the elemental energies begin returning into the ground for their winter dormancy. Cow horns are essential. Bull horns or the horns of other ruminants will not do. The horns represent Hathor, the eternal mother goddess of ancient Egypt, often shown as a cow or as a woman crowned with horns and the solar disk. With Ra, she helped bring forth each new day as a sacred act of creation. During the Hellenistic and Ptolemaic periods, many of Hathor's maternal and cosmic qualities were increasingly absorbed into Isis, who came to be seen as the great mother of all that has been created and all that will yet come to pass. John Anthony West called Isis the provider of divine or cosmic nourishment. This transformation is visible in images of Isis wearing the cow horns. It was within this context that Rudolf Steiner placed such great emphasis on the use of the cow horn to be the receptacle of spiritual nourishment for the farmer's fields. With the transition of Earth's northern hemisphere into spring, it was time to unearth these receptacles and distribute the fermented essence into the garden to rejuvenate the soil for spring's bounty. Once we had gathered, the garden director, Liz, made an invocation to the elemental world, reading 2 verses from Rudolf Steiner's Calendar of the Soul. This is a set of weekly exercises to develop an individual's clairvoyant faculties to grasp the forces animating reality. It is organized into 52 chapters beginning on Easter Sunday. She read, "Spirits of water, spirits of air, weave in the world full of nurture and care. Sons of bright fire and gnomes of quick gait, all of them speak to me whilst they create." We took our shovels and carefully released the cow horns from their slumber, pulling each one from the soil with our hands so as not to damage them. They can be used again next year. Indeed, the manure had transformed from its pungent, sticky form into a fragrant, living fertilizer. With gentle taps, we released the spiritualized manure into a pot until it all had been emptied. Surprisingly, it only takes a small amount of the cow horn manure to rejuvenate the soil, about half a cup for a few gallons of rainwater. City water will not work, as it's filled with chlorine and other additives that will destroy the spiritual and earthly entities in it. The cow horn manure and water is hand-stirred for an hour. Steiner recommended creating a vortex in the water, inviting the nature spirits to enter into the solution. It might be difficult for those unfamiliar with Steiner's cosmology to imagine nature spirits. Yet the idea that living formative powers work through nature has a long history. From Steiner and Paracelsus to Goethe's vision of nature as a dynamic living whole to Galen and even Avicenna, who described elemental qualities expressed in the humors. Going back to ancient Egyptian times, the elemental forces of nature were called netters, the ancient Egyptian representations of cosmic forces influencing all reality. Rudolf Steiner contextualizes the application in terms of homeopathy, a process of healing using herbal remedies to guide the body's spirit to restore harmony. We paired off with buckets filled with the solution and sprinkled the essence throughout the garden using either small brooms of straw or boughs from a nearby grove. I felt a sense of peace stir inside the garden, like a restful yawn of slumbering gnomes stretching their limbs beneath the ground. On completion, we regrouped, helped Liz put all the tools away, and shared stories of our personal gardens and plans for the future. So many people don't have a garden of their own or even houseplants. Sadly, some only experience the living world through their mobile phones or the garden department of a hardware store. I think you'd agree that there's a feeling you get walking through a well-tended garden, like an emotional release from stress of everyday life. I like to imagine happy elementals busily guiding the creative forces inside of the tree blossoms and vines aspiring to climb to the top of high trellises. I'm glad to have found this group. It's not easy to gather all of the essential ingredients to make a cowhorn solution. If you go online, you'll find the Biodynamic Association and the Josephine Porter Institute provide help and offer pre-made preparations for the garden. You know, Lao Tzu said, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step," though he neglected to mention whether he took it barefoot or in slippers. I'm not ready for 1,000 miles, but I can take off my shoes and stroll through my garden. I need to ask you for a favor. If it's not a bother, subscribe to my channel. It's reaching a lot more viewers, and it really helps me to put more time into the podcasts. I also respond to your comments. Your observations are helping me choose the next topics.